Clemson versus Texas A&M. Al, I rewatched the Clemson game, as you know I always do. I rewatched the Texas versus Texas State, Texas A&M versus Texas State game. It's kind of hard to take anything from that game. Two games that were very vanilla, but I think there were a few things that stuck out to me, and a lot of people in chat are already saying it. So one of the things that stuck out to me, we'll just kind of do different things that you think are going to be important, right? So I'll give you my first thing. For me, Kellen Mond is going to try to throw the ball deep on us as much as possible. He's going to kind of seem like a Tua Tagovailoa. I believe that their running game is not going to be what it used to be, and Corbin just does not scare me at all, and it shouldn't scare the Clemson defense at all in that running game. So I'm thinking that he's going to try to win with his arm. He's going to try to trick Kayvon Wallace and Tanner Muse and try to get behind the defense, which, we know we struggle with at times, being too aggressive back there. So my first thing I'm looking for is Kellen Mond to try to throw all over us, kind of like he did last year, where he was almost like a Connor Shaw reincarnate, just throwing it to everybody, going past everybody's fingertips to catch a touchdown is crazy. Just how many passes he got off in between defenders. Clemson was able to bring the win home from College Station. What do you think? What are some of your thoughts for the game?
Well, like you said, Kellen Mond, he played pretty well against Texas State. Again, it's Texas State. I get it. I understand that. But, he's a good-looking quarterback. He had a great game against us last year. A lot of luck involved in that game, but he still played well. He's going to be looking for revenge, of course. He's going to test our DBs, just like he said. I had that written down that they are going to be tested this week. Make no mistake about it. I think our defensive ends will have to be a little more active, and Xavier Thomas, as I spoke about before, a little more disciplined, and he will be, and he'll wreak havoc, I hope. If Mon wants to go deep, I'm hoping Thomas is going to meet him before he has a chance. I talked about cleaning up the kind of little stuff, the missed tackles and the penalties, that kind of thing, and I don't have any reason to believe that's going to be a problem again this week. I think one of the big things, Trevor Lawrence is going to have to be 2018 Trevor Lawrence. Okay, he's going to have to be that guy. I have no doubt he will. Obviously he had a rough week. He did not do a good job week one. He, like we said, we telegraphed a lot of his throws. Maybe that's because the playbook was vanilla, and that's fine. Just a couple bad decisions, including the couple interceptions. But he's going to have that cleaned up. He's going to get his Heisman campaign back on track if Etienne doesn't run past it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got this game in a big environment, big games. He's been there before, and I'm sure he'll do good things.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has definitely got to turn around his performance from the Georgia Tech game, and I believe he will as well. A lot of people are worried, is it going to be a sophomore slump or not? I don't believe that. Think about it this way. Trevor Lawrence, I think, played 3 series last year, and a lot of Texas A&M fans seem to have forgotten that Trevor Lawrence did not even play most of that game, majority of that game, and he didn't get really that much of a chance. A lot of people say, well, Kelly Bryant won us that game. Kelly Bryant, one person did not win us that game, and we don't know what Trevor Lawrence would have done because he wasn't left in the game long enough. I believe if you look at the running back, if we talked about the quarterbacks with Mond, I think the running game, Corbin, like I said, doesn't really scare me when I watch him. I mean, it's Texas State, and he struggled on some of the plays. What worked for him is just running straight up the middle from the I formations. There was a lot of I formations that I saw, a lot of pistol formations, a lot of ace formations, a lot of only 2 wide receiver formations. So that's very interesting to me. I think that plays into Clemson's hands because I think the more that they can keep as many people in the box, the better they'll be. I believe that running up the middle might be kind of a concern right now. I'm curious to see how the Clemson defensive line is going to respond to that. I do believe that the defensive ends are the strength of Clemson. And, that defensive tackle position or the interior of defensive line is still got to prove us, got to show us what they can do with the experience in their games. So I'm curious to see how they respond to these really traditional formations. This is going to be something completely different than what they just saw. Even though it wasn't the triple option, it was very similar to a spread option. The quarterback did most of the running. Kellen Mond's going to try to run too, but their running game didn't do very good against very average or below average opponent last week. So I'm looking to see Clemson take advantage of, the lack of running game this year. They don't have that star running back anymore. So, and like I said, they play a lot out of the I formation. And I think with Isaiah Simmons and with, with Thomas and Henry on the outside, kind of containing that. I think they can just kind of push everything to the inside and be successful there. And then I noticed in the red zone, they went to a read option kind of style and gave Mon the ball. Let Mon make the decision to give it to the running back or take it himself. I'm a little concerned with that, considering that that's something that Georgia Tech seemed to be successful with. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean they did, and I'm sure Mon. Like I said, Mon's a good quarterback. He played well. He's a big, strong guy. He can make those decisions. He's been in these types of games before. I'm sure he'll be able to show some stuff. I'm sure he'll get some yards and some touchdowns, but hopefully it's not as many as the Tigers for sure. I think the Clemson offensive coordinator is going to have to get a little more creative. I think they're going to have to open up the middle a little bit more, like that pass to Lay that the 20-yarder over the middle. His, a lot of people want to, talk about his hands of stone, and he kind of looked like it on that play as well, but he brought it down. Hopefully he's going to be able to soften up those hands over the years because, I mean, this guy's he's got the length, he's got the athleticism, he's got the speed, he's got the ability to be a good tight end, to be a really good tight end. Soften up those hands a little bit, he'll be in good shape. But, I think Clemson's going to have to play a little bit cleaner game than they did week one, when we were talking about the penalties and stuff like that on the offensive line. But, this Aggie team is going to be hungry for revenge after they almost pulled an upset, and some believe they should have, with the pylon call and everything that happened in last year's game, even though the pylon call was correct. There's videos that came out that proved that they made the right call on that, and it should have been Clemson's ball. But I think they're going to be hungry. I mean, they've already had a couple players guarantee upsets and that kind of thing. You know how that goes. I mean, we've heard it all before, so hopefully the Tigers can shut them up and hard.
Big time prediction here. I see a lot of people giving us their prediction. Give us your prediction right now, and I will read it out on air. But we've got Clemson giving 17.5 to a visiting Texas A&M team. Who do you got?
Well, I actually was going to bet the farm that Clemson covered the spread last year. I didn't really care what it was. I thought they were going to hammer Texas A&M. Obviously, it was a close game. I think Clemson's going to have to use the crowd noise. I think it's going to be a packed house, and hopefully it's going to be super loud this week. I think they're going to kind of feed off that, especially defensively in the beginning. But I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. And right now, I have kind of Texas A&M scoring late to make it a little closer than it should be. But I have Clemson 38, Texas A&M 31. So I'm taking the Aggies plus the 17.5, but Clemson to win.
Okay. All right. Clemson to win, Aggies to keep it within the spread. I'm still learning this whole against the spread stuff. I did not pick the score again this week. I'm just so bad at this. Just so bad. But I'm picking Clemson again. I'm going to keep my streak going, picking Clemson to beat the spread and beat the Aggies